world of marginalized communities with a focus on the disabled and LGBTQ+. In our discussions, we will provide a platform for our guests to advocate and share their stories. By delving deep into their difficulties and successes, we will explore the changes necessary to improve lives everywhere. Thank you for joining us, and welcome to the Othering Podcast with Mike and Dory. Step inside a world where animals walk, talk, and think just like us. This collection of 30 short stories, each starring unforgettable anthropomorphic characters, is written with one simple philosophy: everyone is welcome at the zoo.
Created for readers of all ages, these stories celebrate diversity, imagination, and the joy of seeing the world through different eyes. From clever foxes to thoughtful elephants, every tale offers humor, heart, and a fresh perspective on what it means to be human, told through the voices of the creatures we love. Whether you're looking for a quick read, a thoughtful escape, educational value, or even a modern set of bedtime stories, Welcome to the Zoo is your ticket to adventure.
Welcome to the Zoo is available now on Amazon in hardcover, paperback, Kindle, and free with Kindle Unlimited.
Welcome to the Zoo by Paul Smith.
PEP Radio, part of the Pennsylvania Equality Project, advocates for the rights of LGBTQ+ people, the disabled, and marginalized communities. We play music from all 7 continents from 1928 through 2025 in English, Spanish, German, African tribal languages, Korean, and Japanese. We also offer news, history lessons, and are proud to include the Othering podcast in our programming lineup. Tune in on the Live 365 app, Roku, and Alexa every Saturday and Sunday at 4 p.m.
Hello.
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 How are you?
I'm good.
All right, today is a special episode. We are talking to Caroline. She is the youngest daughter of our previous guest, Michele, from episode 11 in mid-July. It's a special episode because she is a kid. She's 17. She's very young. So we'll kind of get to hear a different perspective. She was diagnosed with hypermobile spectrum disorder at the age of 16 and diagnosed with fibromyalgia just a few days ago. She wants to connect with teenagers and with similar experiences and encourage them to share their stories and hopefully help them. So welcome, Caroline. It's great to have you.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
We are thrilled to be able to talk to you because we need some deets on your mom. And we want to get all of the lovely, juicy tidbits of information we can, because, we're here to not only uplift the voices of youth, but we want to corrupt them as well. So.
Exactly.
Of course, but you were diagnosed at 16 with hypermobile spectrum disorder because you, if I remember what your mom said correctly, it's because you missed by like a point or two for what would be considered Ehlers-Danlos, which is, the Baton score is kind of weird. It doesn't quite cover everything, I would imagine, that is necessary for true diagnosis. I mean, it's basically your arms, your thumbs, your pinkies, and your knees. So I don't quite understand how that's going to really help anybody much, because there's so many people out there who, if you straighten your legs or your elbows, it's kind of bent upside down looking. And, I can do my pinkies at a 90-degree angle, basically. And so kind of seems like I guess not the greatest of criteria to choose in determining whether or not somebody has it or not. What was your experience with it?
Well, when I originally got the diagnosis, my mom told me, afterwards, the geneticist had mentioned that even though it is hypermobile spectrum disorder, a lot of the geneticists just say, it is technically Ehlers-Danlos, but I don't really reciprocate as much as my mom and my sister do. So I'm not nearly as flexible as them, but I still feel things and I still notice it. So I don't really understand either why it's a difference to a different scale, because it's technically the same thing. I just don't feel as much.
Right.
Yeah.
And I keep seeing a lot of literature that also mentions the fact that just because you don't necessarily have all of your bits and pieces, going backwards and, making you look like what,
A contortionist.
yeah, contortionist, or, Mr. Fantastic from the Fantastic Four, it doesn't then kind of negate the Baton score. I would think it just doesn't make sense if that's the major criteria of determining, but yet not everybody with hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos is necessarily going to be overly bendy. And it just seems odd. But I want to ask you, as a teenager, as, a wonderful kid wanting to go out and play and, learn all this stuff, how does it feel for you to have to take on understanding your body that intimately at such a young age?
I think for me, when it started off, it was hard because I started to realize that I can't go out and do what I used to as easily. Like, for example, my friend invited me ice skating, and she said, I don't know if like going would be a good idea because of your like ankles and your knees. And like she said, like maybe if you want to come over like next weekend. But I think that having that like awareness of I can't go and do things without at least thinking about it. It's different because most teenagers my age, they don't have to worry about that. They can go out, they can ice skate, roller skate, whatever they want to do without having to think of, could this injure me? Could I get into a flare? It's a little upsetting, but I think over the past couple months, I've been able to understand myself better, and that even though that is the case, that sometimes that's better. And even if I do want to do those things, there's other things I can do too that I won't have to worry about myself. And sometimes that's better than it, even if I want to go out and do those things.
Have you tried any of the adaptive sports yet?
Not yet. I don't think we've looked much into it, but I think I'm just afraid because even gym class has been difficult for me, that like going into like a sport that could help, like in turn, could it,
Yes.
or will it just make it worse?
And that's a good question, because I would think that some things might help, and of course, some things probably wouldn't. But it's such a dynamic disease, not only for everybody, but it's also so individualistic per person. So like some people have it, and walking is just not even gonna try because their hips, their knees dislocate constantly. There are others that I've seen where if they try to lift a book, all of a sudden, it's like Got Milk commercial where their arms just fall off. And and it's not to make fun of those things. It's just that's kind of how it is for them. And it would be, I would think, difficult to figure out which one is right for you. Like there's, sit skiing, but there's still the issue of your arms. Do you have it a lot more problems in your arms than your legs, or, is it kind of widespread evenly?
So for me, I notice the pain most when I'm at school because, I'm carrying a backpack and it's always on my shoulders. And my campus, as my mom discussed in her episode, that it's atrocious. I don't know why you decided to make a California campus in New Jersey,
Yeah.
but sure. Even like just walking, like I noticed my ankles like easily start like hurting and like aching and just really uncomfortable by like first period. Mind you, I have 5 other classes I have to go to after this and lunch where I'm uphill, downhill. So I think it depends what I'm doing. But when school starts, that's when I notice it a lot because I don't have as much time to rest because I'm going from place to place.
Right.
And I would guess those chairs in the classroom aren't very good for you either. Those are the most uncomfortable chairs in the world.
Yeah, they're not very comfortable.
I mean, I don't think they've changed the chair since we were going
Yeah.
to school way back in, when TVs were invented type of thing. But actually, Michelle's older than that, so I should stop. So, sorry, Michelle, don't come back at me.
I love you anyways.
But it's just, being a teenager, if I remember correctly, it was painful to kind of do a lot of the sports for me. And especially because I am the biggest klutz on earth. If somebody sneezed, I could trip over it. And those ankle pains that you mentioned, does it radiate to your knees, or is it just kind of localized? And I ask this because for me, after a while, mine just kind of radiates up to my knees and just kind of goes to my toes.
I think for me, I think it kind of stays in the ankle area, but I definitely feel it in my feet. Like when I'm walking, I can definitely sense it. Like I've told my friend, going to the elevator because I can't go upstairs well, that my feet are killing me. And I have to stand in the elevator and then I have to walk to my class. So it's it's just achy, and I hate it because I shouldn't have to worry about that. But
No, you shouldn't. And my heart breaks because I know what it's like to have those feet that you just want to get rid of, and so that you can be comfortable and all this stuff. Because I always complained about, not the same, but I always complained about having excruciating pain in my feet. Mm-hmm. And I hated walking. In fact, I tried my damnedest not to walk as a kid until I was 5 or 6 because I was too big to carry around. And so I understand your pain, and I am so sorry.
So I have a possibly ignorant question I should have done my research on. But Ehlers-Danlos causes pain, and fibromyalgia causes pain, or is pain. Do you know, or can you tell what's causing your pain? And I know that's kind of a stupid question, but I don't even know how to word it, but
kind of what's the difference, maybe?
Yeah, is there a difference? Do you know what's causing it, or is it just everything in general?
It's a good question, actually. Well, I will say that before I was diagnosed with fibro, I wasn't so aware of the pain that was happening throughout my body until last week.
Okay.
So I think for me, the difference I can't totally tell you because I don't know.
Okay.
No, and that's fair, because I would imagine that after a bit it kind of becomes all encompassing, and so it's kind of hard to differentiate between what's causing what.
And EDS has so many comorbidities that probably caused the fibromyalgia to begin with. So, yeah, it could all be the same thing.
Or unfortunately, I can talk. Unfortunately, it could be the other way around too. I mean, they're still discovering so many different things about Ehlers-Danlos, and where it marks on our DNA, and basically how it could manifest, how it might manifest, and some of it is still kind of up in the air, especially now. But I want to ask, what prompted you to get, help for the excruciating pain of the fibromyalgia? What made you say, we need to go to the doctor and get this checked out?
So I think it started when I had issues with my knees, because that was the first thing after going to PT for my hip was, my knees are starting to act up. They're, cracking way more than usual. And yes, I know they're noisy because they always tell me that. But it started, the weakness in the knees started too. And when I was walking up the stairs at my school, I was like, this hasn't happened before. I've never noticed a weakness in them. So then eventually it got to the point where it was really hard to get up the stairs. And I talked to my mom because, she knows all about Ehlers-Danlos way more than I do. And I told her, and I said, like, something's wrong. So we went back to the doctor that I was diagnosed with the bursa in my hip. And, then he said, do you want to use the elevator or do you have one? And I said, our school does. So I was able to. But then once the knees were affected, then, the legs, the ankles. So then it just became a domino effect. And then it was just, now I see other doctors.
Can I interrupt? Okay,
Yes, Mom.
so she was at her pediatric orthopedist, and he already had fibro and EDS, and her Meredith, the older sister, has fibro and HEDS. So he was like, let's just run some blood work. So blood work was run, and inflammation markers came back high. Let's get you to a rheumatologist just to, rule out or not whether or not you have it.
Right. And I am so sorry for that because you're so young.
Sadly, there's a genetic component to fibro, just like there is HEDS. So
Yes.
it's, I don't know, an unfortunate spin of the genetic wheel.
Yeah, we all have, in my family, as you know, Michelle, there's the malignant hyperthermia that is in there. And unfortunately, they still haven't even figured out a great test to determine whether or not you have that or not. And they know it's genetic. But I'm still glad that you were able to, not only have your mom help you navigate this, because there are other stories, and, we've told Michelle this and such, of people just not getting any help. And what would you say to other teenagers that might be feeling these pains but don't quite understand what to do, what to think, or even, kind of where to maybe navigate things?
So with me, I think it was a little different because I knew of my mom's medical history with Ehlers-Danlos, and my sister having it when she turned 19, right?
19.
Yeah. Okay. So with me, it was kind of, when I started to notice it, I was like, okay, so she might know something. So I went to her. So for me personally, it was easier because she already knows about it and she's already been diagnosed. So for me to go up to her and say, I think something's wrong, it was comforting because I had someone there that kind of knew about it. But for teenagers who don't have a known, their parents don't have a known genetic history of a certain condition or illness, it can be a lot harder to step in and say, something's wrong, I need help. And I think that the easiest way to go about that is if you notice, if there's signals going off, alarms in your head saying something's not right, talk to someone.
Yes.
If it can't be the parents right away because you're afraid of being told it's in your head or whatever, to maybe talk to a different adult, a teacher, or maybe someone else you can go to that is willing to maybe help you find that next step and tell your parents that I shouldn't be feeling this way, or why am I feeling this way, and to kind of get that support system that you need.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great advice. And
Beautifully well done.
I know from personal experience, sometimes family doesn't necessarily believe or think that what you say is wrong is really wrong, and then you should just walk it off, so to speak. And I know how support systems can be pretty crappy at times. You're very fortunate to have a great support system behind you.
Yeah, because we would kick Michelle's butt anyway if she wasn't. So,
but like you said, definitely talk to someone if you need someone and you need support. That's important.
Yeah, and I want to say this to not only to you and Michelle, but to other people too. That if you need somebody to talk to, there's so many people, us included, out there that would happily, be your advocate if you need it, for whatever we can do. And I have to say that you, let me rephrase this, because I don't want it to come off as a backhanded slap kind of thing, because I just think that you are so well versed in this, and that helps. But just the way that you convey it and talk about it is really, really like well done, beyond your years. And I know that people are like, "Oh, beyond your years, what do you mean?" But and I got that too all the time. But they're just you are so beautifully mature for it,
Thank you.
and I truly mean that in like all of the best ways. And that also has to do with your mom. Not to give her too much credit, because we don't want her to have a big head.
That's true. That'd be horrible if I get a big head.
Love you, Michele.
I love you too.
But it's just, sometimes kids don't always get that chance to express themselves as well as you do. And I want to say that it's also, props to you specifically, because that's the biggest thing about getting help, is understanding you need help. Sometimes people just don't even know. When Mike was a kid, and he was having his issues with mental health, I had to kind of push him. Me and a few of his other friends had to push him to say something. And part of that could be his just thought process of we all teenagers have a tendency to, I can handle it, I'm invincible.
Could be that. Doesn't mean it was that.
Yes, I know, but I'm
So
trying.
we'll go with that.
I'm trying here. Let me finish. And for those of you who also fall in that, could have been that way, find somebody, please, because you all are so worth it to be here and to, shower yourself with love in, so beyond the mushy stuff. Back to...
I have a question.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
If you need help.
No, I don't need help. You need help.
So she was talking about maturity and the way you spoke about everything. As far as your mental health is concerned and going through school and dealing with other kids and having to have special accommodations, have you had struggles with that? I know when I went through school, I didn't have any special accommodations and I had struggles with other kids.
Well, I think the school specifically has been way more help than they were for, my sister when she was having her, her ankle issues and everything. I mean, for kids, I think it really depends on like who you're surrounding yourself with, because like classmates I've had, like they ask me like, how are you doing? Like, are you all right? But then like there's those like kids who, or maybe even friends who don't understand what you're going through and they don't really ask you. So like they're not aware of what's going on, and like you want that support. But that support system that you want to find might not be in those people.
Yes.
And I've learned that with some of my friends, where it's like, I don't know if I have enough support from you. So I might turn to some other friends that I have. And as much as that's like kind of terrible.
No, it's not.
You gotta take care of yourself.
Right.
Yeah. Because what I've talked to my mom about this. I've written about it, that, having that support system is probably one of the most important things, because without those people that are going to be behind you and to help you and make sure like you're doing okay and, there's not something else going on, is important, because that's the kind of people you want around.
Yes.
You don't want people who are going to make you second guess, like, am I an issue because
Right.
of what I go through and what's happening to me that I cannot control.
And again, just you hit it on the nail at how important it is to understand that, we all have different type of friendships. And it's important to note in those friendships that some people are great for certain things. And it's not belittling them or your relationship with them. It's just certain people are better than others in certain situations. And so finding those people that, work within, your confines, your boundaries, and such is an important aspect of being able to handle a lot of the pain. Because, I mean, I don't know about you, but there are times when I just would love to bite people's heads off and just kind of give them all sorts of fingers and gestures.
I don't think that matters if you're in pain. I think everyone feels that way.
No, but yeah, but there's moments where when you're in pain, though,
Yeah, it's
it's
worse.
more frequent.
I agree.
And it's so important to find those people that are going to understand, because sometimes you're going to be an asshole when you're in pain, especially before you figure out what's going on and, you know, getting on the regimen. So with that being said, how have you been kind of, especially over the summer, taking care of your body and your regimen with, if you have any medications and things like that, to kind of be prepared for school?
I think for me, the biggest thing for summer this year was just rest, because I was all with school, as I said, walking around was terrible. And I don't want to, you know, re-injure something, or I don't know, have a flare, as I've been talking about. I want to be able to, you know, go out and have fun. But I think for me, a lot of that's more leisure activities and things that don't, you know, necessarily have a lot of action. And that's okay, because, you know, I like to just like go on walks or watch movies with mom. And I think that, you know, part of that, what I enjoy doing, you know, I write about things, and I like to like create. Our family's, you know, art people. We love
Yes.
creating things.
Yep.
I'm more so a musician, so I, you know, write songs. So I think for me, it's been, you know, not doing a lot, but doing enough where it's not like I feel guilty about it, because I know when school starts again, especially for my senior year where it's all college all the time in like a month, I need to take a step back. And that was actually one of the issues I had. Starting this, like the beginning of summer, I was focused on, you know, college, thinking about how to like get an essay started. And I was freaking out, and mom actually like stopped me. She said, take a step back. You know, you have a couple months. So yeah.
So speaking of college, they've got ginormous campuses there too. How are you? Do you have plans for that, or do you have thoughts about what you're going to do there?
So considering college, I don't know what I want to study yet. So I think I will be starting at community college and then branching out. So the good news about the college that we have here is that there's an elevator. So I can use that. If I really feel like using the stairs, I guess I could. But, you know, I mean, we usually, I think considering how big the campus is, mom said that we just usually drive. So I think that walking might not be too much of an issue, because I did go on a tour there and it wasn't too bad. So
Okay.
fingers crossed that
Yeah, that's good.
goes smoothly. But with other colleges, once I transfer out, I don't know how well accommodations are. I don't know if there'll be any. And that's like a really hard thing for me, because going into the college search, it's how big of a campus can I go on? Do they have accommodations? Do I have to take out that school because they don't? Which isn't something I should be thinking about, but I have to think about.
Yeah,
It,
that is unfortunate.
it is. And, you know, unfortunately, a lot of schools aren't really built for anybody needing accommodations. And, I mean, the only benefit is just if you need help with something, you just have to let your teachers know. And as professors, it's our job to accommodate as best as possible. And, you know, if they don't, you need, if they don't, let us know.
Let somebody know.
Well,
I
I will interrupt again. That's why we started doing college tours
Yeah.
Yeah.
for the summer, so she can visit the campuses and walk around and see how much walking there is and how much uphill and downhill, and would she be able to handle it. So she's being very proactive.
Incredibly proactive.
I applaud her.
Thanks.
I do too. I
Yeah,
mean, because
that's great.
honestly, when I was looking at colleges, I just like, did they have grass? And it was just like, okay, cool. So there's some green somewhere, and that was kind of my extent. And I also want to touch on the fact that not knowing what you're going to study yet is totally, totally perfect. And I'm 47 and I'm still kind of like, you know what do I want to study now? And so you should find a way to love lifelong learning, because it is fun. It can be so fun. And so I commend you for not, trying to pinpoint exactly, because so many people figure that, me included, that you have to know what you're going to do by the age of 5. And it's not the case.
No.
No.
And
What do you want to be when you grow up?
yeah,
I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up.
you haven't even grown up yet. So
Exactly.
you're still a kid compared, well, I mean, to our parents, not to
But
some
it's
people.
It's a dumb question.
Yes, it is. It's not necessarily a stupid question. It's just,
I mean, I guess
it's a
it
loaded
helps.
question.
I guess it helps to kind of set a goal, but it also is kind of a trap.
Yes. Understanding that you want to go certain places is great. And understanding that you want this out of life is great, but you don't have to have it set in stone. Nobody has it set in stone. Even people that are on their deathbeds are still like, I want to do this. So, have you, discussed any possible aids or anything like, crutches or AFOs, anything like that to maybe help you navigate the state of California on one campus?
Not really. As I said, like the one I've really talked about was the elevator, which was a big help because, I mean, stairs suck.
Yes,
Yep.
Hate them. I don't know why they exist, but here we are.
for torture.
Um, so I think the elevator was good because, I can use it whenever I need to, and usually that's almost every day, but, it happens. Regarding like any other accommodations, I haven't really, but I think part of that might just be because I feel like there's not enough like space really that I could, because the walkways also aren't that big, which is like,
Which is
Yeah.
weird because your campus, if I remember correctly, is literally like the state of California. And the fact that they don't have walkways larger than half of a child is just, what are you doing in high school, people? I mean, come on.
So do you feel like something like a cane would help you?
I mean, maybe to relieve some of like the pressure every time I step.
Yeah.
But again, like walking uphill, downhill, like I can't avoid it.
Right.
So
That's the part that kind of gets me the worst. And it's not always comfortable going up and downhill. Actually, that's kind of what hurt me more, was doing the hills at my college campus that I worked at. And like, it seems like there's not many hills when you look at it, and then you walk it and you're just like, what the fuck, people?
Because you're walking really far
That too.
and uphill.
Both ways in 6 feet of snow. Just like our parents.
Wow, it's terrible. They don't know how to manage that.
Yes.
There was ice. The last time it snowed on our campus, there was still ice on like the walkways. I slipped my freshman year. I do not recommend.
No.
No.
Speaking of weather, like, does heat and cold affect it more? Does it hurt more?
I think so. I have noticed. I don't know which one hurts more, heat or, because I haven't necessarily been on my campus, I think, as much warm as it is cold. Yeah, I don't know, but both hurt definitely. I
Yes.
can definitely sense it. So
To Ireland we all go because it's, nice and mild there.
70 degrees year round.
Yes,
That would be
nice.
kind of nice.
that would be. And I don't know, for sure, because, again, it's different for everybody, but usually, at least with CRPS, weather changes, you feel it coming. you can tell, oh, guess what? It's going to snow today or it's going to rain. And kind of like a broken bone and such. And I would imagine that any kind of pain syndrome kind of goes along that track of, oh, hey, the weather's changing. Because the barometer pressure and all of that stuff kind of makes it, you feel it. I don't know why, but you feel it. And I hate that. I don't want to feel it.
Yeah, I've had that happen too, where like it's about to rain and that's like, oh, my ankle's aching or my shoulder, and I'm like, oh, that's great. I don't want to be like I don't want to be able to tell the weather.
Yes.
Yeah.
How about your mother? How much does she have been able to tell the weather?
A lot. She usually, I think, when she's told me, she can sense like rain and snow mostly. So usually in her her knee or her ankle also, she'll definitely feel like a certain sensation. I don't know.
Aching,
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
throbbing.
It's that deep kind of throbbing ache. And I hate
Yes.
that. Yes. I'm sorry. I don't wish that on anybody because that's the worst.
So I'm going to get into the deep stuff, and if you don't want to answer it, you can say something.
Okay.
Or just,
But-
yell, Michelle, he told me this.
But since you're a kid, and right now it's kind of in the beginning stages of everything, you've watched your mom and sister handle it. Looking into the future, if you even do that, are you scared? I mean, does that bother you, or do you not really think about it much?
I think it definitely worries me a little bit because, even though college, still a year and a half away, that's still kind of in the future, I guess.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think for that, I just think I'm worried that, the campus it will be hard to walk on. And, even though I might not be that far away from home, I don't know how easy things will be for me once I'm, not at this school because it's a different location, it's a different area. And then going into future, when I have a job and stuff, it's how much am I going to be able to do and without aggravating something, and what career could I go into where I'm not going to injure myself.
And will they have accessibility? Unfortunately, we have to worry about that.
Yes, especially there's so many different, paths that you could take. Some of them are really great with remote work and, being able to have your moments where, you're going to have a flare and, getting a chance to rest is important. And some companies are going to be great with that. And some, unfortunately, are going to be utter complete shit.
Speaking assholes.
Yeah, that too. Assholes is the greatest word to put. And it depends also on your profession. Because, I know people who are, using wheelchairs that are in medicine. And not saying, go for medicine. But it's a difficult thing to do. What?
Really, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, of course. It's just...
When you really get down to it, you can do whatever you want if you can make it happen.
I'm just saying that, everything is
easy.
difficult
It's made a whole lot more difficult.
It is, because they don't really make the accommodations much.
Right.
And we need to force them, and it shouldn't be that way. We shouldn't have you worrying about whether or not the campus at a school that you love is going to be accommodating for you. You should be able to just be like, I love this campus. I love what I'm, the people that I'm seeing here, and hooray, I'm going here. And, have your fun within reason. I have to put that caveat because I am an adult. And, behind your mother's back, have as much fun as you want. But it's just, you shouldn't have to worry about all of those things. And the fact that you do and that you're handling it as well as you can is, a really testament to you, because it's not easy watching family members have their issues and seemingly going downhill, and then you get diagnosed with the same problems, and you get terrified or scared and things like that, not to put words in your mouth. It's just, you are so well adjusted. And again, that probably sounds wrong. And I don't mean that as such. I don't mean you should be running around with your hair sticking in all directions and screaming, "Oh my God, what am I doing here? Get me out!" But
It's just a lot.
it's
on
just a lot,
young kid.
yeah, on you, and I commend you for that. And I think that, in all honesty, that whatever life throws at you, you will be so just
Yeah.
take it in stride, and you'll go so far. And I'm cheering for you. We're both cheering for you all the way. And I can't wait to see you succeed in whatever you choose.
You guys are so nice.
We try to be.
They can be. No.
Yes, I mean, I have my moments, but when I care about people, I can't help it. It may be mushy and overboard or whatever to some people, but that's just how I am.
So since we're in the mushy, depressing talk, do you feel like you've missed out on childhood because of doing things in your childhood because of the pain that you're in?
I don't want to say that I really missed out on not like everything, because I still got to go roller skating a couple times and go ice skating a couple times before I was diagnosed. And it's not necessarily, not much is necessarily different, but it's just that there's another factor I have to add on. And if I do this, because I still can go roller skating or ice skating, but I have to be aware of how much I'm doing and making sure that I'm aware. I might wake up tomorrow and hate myself for putting my body through that.
Yep.
But I think as someone who, is almost 18, which don't want to think about that yet, but I think that I haven't missed out on too much because I did get to experience it, but I'm also not the person that's crazy party teenager like some kids. I'm more laid back and
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah. That's good to hear, though. That
Yeah.
You don't feel like you've missed out on stuff.
Yes, because in all honesty, you really haven't. If you got to be a kid, that's the biggest thing.
Right.
And I don't like necessarily the talk of missing out on things. I think that we get so hung up on, oh, I missed out on this, or, oh, I missed out on this. I wish I could have done that. And don't worry about that. Life is just life. Sometimes you get to do it, sometimes you don't. And it's not necessarily that you missed out. It's just you got the opportunity to do something else.
Yep.
That's my fucked up little mental health brain talking.
Well, mine too, because I feel the same way. But I'm just saying,
Yeah, you're right, but I can't see it that way half the time.
it's hard. It's like those overly optimistic people that you want to slap in the face. And they're like, well, just put a smile and you'll be fine. No, you won't, bitch. But it's those thoughts sometimes that we have to kind of think of it in better terms, or other terms, I should say. And I am guilty of, I wish I had done certain things myself. Don't get me wrong. And I'm not trying to, belittle you or something, or say that you're wrong. It's not. It's just, I want to try and put out there the thought of, opportunity cost. You didn't do this, but did you not get a flare? So that's, a benefit. Or did you do it and end up hurt, but did you have fun? Kind of thing. And, so you kind of have to sometimes think of it.
Or did you not want to do it to start with? So you weren't missing anything. And that's kind of what it sounds like it was for Caroline.
Yes.
See, I highly encourage her to do whatever she wants to within the realm of what she's able to do.
Right.
Like, hey, I want to go out with a friend. Bye. Push her out the door.
We do that too.
Yeah.
And it's not that we don't love our kids. We do, of course. It's just, it's
Everyone
nice
needs
when
a
they
break.
leave. It is nice when they leave.
Everyone needs a break sometimes.
Sometimes, with our precious children. I'm just kidding. But I want to also, ask you, in the realm of your studies, how has you have how have you paced yourself to be able to, keep on track of it, but without overdoing it? Because I know that with fibromyalgia and with any kind of pain issues, that, great chronic fatigue happens. And, it's not exactly the same as chronic fatigue syndrome, but it's still very there. So how have you been able to find ways to pace yourself, especially as a child, as teenager? Excuse me.
I think for me, I think that it, for me at least, because I don't have a whole lot in my schedule outside of school, because I know that I have homework and I procrastinate and I don't want to like over stress myself. But I think that with, the things that I do, it's like, if I go out with friends this day, I have to be aware that if there's pain the next day, that I need to take a step back and I need to give myself the rest that my body needs for me to get up, the next morning or whatever it is off my bed, which usually I can do pretty easily. So, but I'm more of like, as I said, a leisure person. I don't do high active, like things like that. Like I'll go on maybe a hike with my mom or ride or whatever it is. But I think,
You pace yourself?
yes,
There you
yes,
go.
thanks.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
Yes.
that makes sense.
Because it is very important to not overdo it. Usually that's where a lot of the wear and tear kind of comes in onto your body anyway. So you gotta make sure that you're paying attention to everything that's going on in your body, around your body. And the reason why I asked, how you pace yourself is because as a teenager, when I know when I was a kid and all, I had way more energy than I do now. Shocking, I know, but I did. And it was kind of hard for me to navigate, well, I need to relax and I'm pushing too hard versus, but I've got this to do, I've got homework to do, I've got, horseback riding to do or something, that you do on the side.
But I feel like, especially when we were kids, we were taught not to relax.
That's
we were
true.
taught, get up, go to school, study, do this, do that. You can go play outside, run around, then come home, go to bed. I feel like for us, it was a little different than today. And the luxuries, maybe it's luxuries, I don't know. You can tell me that. The luxuries they have today and the abilities, not quite so. I guess the hustle culture is a little better
Yeah.
now for teenagers.
I think part of that too is, I forgot what I was going to say. That I think for some teenagers too, it's not always necessarily, even ones that don't have chronic stuff, it's, with parents too, sometimes it's their expectations for that kid and it's,
Exactly.
how much is your child having to do to meet this, expectation. And I think part of that could be like an issue for someone with chronic stuff because there's so much on your plate already, plus knowing that you have an expectation you want to meet to make this person, proud or whatever. Like for me, that's never really a case. My mom wants me to do what, I want to, as long as I'm being responsible and not stupid. So I think part of it could also be kind of the pressure of people around you or a parent, and that kind of expectation for that person when you also have pain and you're tired all the time. Like for me, when like homework got to a point where I was like really busy and then it's like I'm exhausted, I would tell myself, email my teachers and take a break and just finish it tomorrow. But sometimes it's even hard to do that when you're tired the next day.
Yes.
Yeah. And sometimes it's hard to ask for help. Even just to email the teacher takes a lot of, I guess, courage.
Well, yeah.
Sometimes. I don't know, unless you're,
For us,
You have that
you
connection.
had to go to the teacher. So there's that. You had to do it face to
That's
face.
true too. But yeah, to what you were saying, the support system makes a huge difference, and I feel like, and I'm not saying anything wrong with our parents, but I do
Oh,
kind of
no.
feel like that's the difference between when we were younger and now. Their generation was kind of pushing their children in a different way that our generation does.
They
Maybe.
also grew up in the situation where they were kind of pushed too. So,
Right.
you know,
They
you kind
did
of,
what they knew. Yeah.
right.
Like I
And-
said, I'm not faulting them, but
Oh, no.
it's different.
Children don't come with a compass and a nice parenting book saying, this is how you do it. So it's kind of hard to come up with how do we help them. And I think a big thing, like you said, Caroline, is talk.
Yeah.
And, you know, making sure that you are able to talk with your family, especially to get the help that you need in order to be able to email your teachers and say, look, this is too much right now. I want to finish it, but this is going on. And that, like you said, Mike, you know, does take courage. And I'm sure your mother is like wonderful about that. Not to give her a big head again. I can see it from here out the window.
Yeah, darn, I was trying to hide that better. It is starting.
I think for me, at least, you know, as I said before with this whole support system, it is important to have people that understand that something's going on. And like to teenagers who are watching this who have chronic stuff or don't know it yet, but have a maybe feeling that they do, I feel like the most important thing is to speak with someone.
Yes.
Because without that kind of communication and understanding, it's going to be really hard for you to like take the next step and to figure out what's wrong. Because if you don't know, it's going to be harder for you because then you can't learn about it. You can't, you know, experience like, what can I do? What can I not do?
Mm-hmm.
So I think talking and trying to open up is something that's really important, but also can be very scary.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is very scary, even to us adults.
Yeah.
You know, telling Mike that I felt like something was wrong in the beginning, it was just kind of,
You still have troubles asking for help.
yes, I am notoriously bad about that. But it was difficult and scary because I was afraid that, not that he would say it's all in your head, but because you get used to kind of that mentality of hearing doctors tell you, oh, just, you know, walk it off, or you're fine, I don't see anything. And so you start to think, well, is it in my head then? And I'm glad that you don't experience that, because we should not get used to thinking it's in our head. We know our bodies best. I don't care if you're 2 years old or 95,000. That's impossible, I know, but still. We know our bodies best. And listening to not only ourselves and, you know, pushing away that ableist talk of, oh, it can't be anything wrong. And just going to somebody is not only scary, but it is freeing at the same time, because then you don't have the burden on your own.
We do need to start wrapping it up, with that being said.
Yes.
All right.
We want to thank you so much.
Yes, thank you very much.
And your mother, of course, for letting you talk to us. We didn't corrupt her too much, Michelle, we promise.
I've been literally
She's
sitting
Oh, I
there
know that.
the entire time.
That's why I said that, because I know you're right there.
I know. Yep.
But, you know, we love talking to you. We love getting to know you. And, you know, if you guys ever need anything, please,
And
you know, hit us up.
and like you've been saying, it's important to speak up, and this is a great way to do it. That's one way to do it on the
Yeah.
podcast, and it's great to have a teenager, people
Yes.
of all different types on here, and be able to speak up.
Yeah, because, you know, being a teenager is not at all the same as being an adult.
No.
And,
I
you know,
think it's
you've,
much tougher, personally.
I think it is too, because you've got hormones and raging hormones and thoughts, and at least I did.
And
Your mother could probably tell you so many stories about me growing up.
other little asshole teenagers around you.
Yes, exactly. And just being able to have that support, though, as a teenager, and being able to figure out how to find it is just amazingly wonderful. And thank you for sharing that with us and talking with us and being comfortable with us.
Of course. Yeah, I was really happy to come on. Yeah.
Yes,
was really
we were so excited to talk to you guys
Yep.
again, and because I knew your mom was going to sit there, so I had to put in some jabs.
I sort of suspected that might happen. I'm okay with that.
Yes. Well, you're my sister, so
Exactly. I would be disheartened if you had not done that at least a couple times.
exactly. See, Mike, everybody understands. If I make fun of you, I love you.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I get it.
It's the Jersey way.
I get it. I make fun of you, too.
Yes, you do.
I don't know Michelle well enough to make fun of her.
That's okay. Go with it.
All right. Thank you again.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
If you've made it this far, thank you so much for listening. Please leave a rating for us wherever you listen. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok.
Othering Podcast is brought to you by Loudcore Productions in conjunction with your support. Your host, Mike and Dory Morris, graphics by Joshua Morris, and join us next week on the Othering Podcast.